Yo, what's going on, Third Chair family? It's your boy Joshua Hall and my boy Ryan. Diggity 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 dog Adams.
That was smooth.
In the building. You know what I'm saying?
Sir. I feel like you guessed. That was a good intro.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching The Basement and Tim be introducing people, and he be hitting that high pitch, I be like, Tim.
I know, yeah. I be turning my jaw all the way down when I hear him get ready to come on.
Bro, he be hitting that thing like a bird.
Be irritating me real quick. All right, bro, come on.
before I turn it off.
Chill out, bro. Calm down.
Hell yeah. But yeah, man, welcome back. You know, we are in this new season that we got going on. Our topic is getting to know Jesus, getting to know who he really is. And today we're going to be talking about reflecting Jesus' character and really how that involves to reflect it. You have to know him, you know, and that's not something you could rush. I feel like a big thing I've been focusing on in my relationship right now, one of the prayers I have is, God, help me be patient. You know, like, I was writing a song about it. I was saying, like, God, I'm going to be patient. I'm not going to rush the love. I'm going to let it all come genuinely. Because sometimes when you walk with God, you want him a certain way, but you honestly don't want him like that yet. But you know it's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, you know, and sometimes that's when you start trying to force stuff. That's when you start doing things like, oh, I'm going to read 8 chapters a day. And you're trying to like read your way into loving the Lord, which you can't really do. I'm not saying don't read your Bible, but don't like try to like eat it to make yourself love him more. Like give, like the Bible talks about, the Lord loves a cheerful giver. Give as you purpose in your heart, not grudgingly or of necessity. So, and that's not just about like tithing, that's also about like with your life, with your heart. So yeah, it takes time to get to know God. But you said you had some thoughts that you had about like reflecting God's character.
What did I say?
You were talking about the difference of like how important it is to reflect God's character with the fruits of the Spirit.
Oh, yeah. Because I have a lot of thoughts about that. I have a lot of thoughts about a lot of things. Like, one of the main things, where do I want to start? Like, I feel like I say it all the time. Like, I feel like a lot of people focus on what Jesus says in the Bible in Matthew when he talks about like, what was that? What's it say? Depart from me, for I never knew you. And there's going to be people that say, oh, but we prophesied in your name and we did all these things in your name. And like, how is it possible that you didn't know me if I feel like I knew you? And I feel like the confusion is like, because that usually gets me too. And it still does get me. I'm trying to like figure out like what it means for somebody to feel like they knew Jesus, but Jesus didn't know them. So the person that they felt like they knew, it's a false spirit somewhere. Like if you're not seeing Jesus, then who are you interacting with? And God says in his word that only a good tree can produce good fruit. So if we're thinking about ourselves as trees, and even if we don't know Jesus at that moment, but we think we know Jesus, we still have his word, and we know what the word says about the fruit of the Spirit. So this is why the Bible also says to examine your heart and to judge every spirit, and that includes like our own spirit, so we can know like if we're in right standing with God on like a daily basis. So the fruits of the Spirit being love, joy, peace, kindness, gentleness, self-control, etc. If we're not like obtaining these fruits and like using them on like a daily basis, then or producing them on a daily basis, then we can say that we don't have a relationship with Jesus. So if we're producing like wicked fruit, and the Bible doesn't give examples of wicked fruit, but we see examples of wicked people in the Bible and like in the world as well. And I would deem wicked anything that's opposite of the fruit of the Spirit being peace, love, joy. So if you're not exhibiting peace, love, joy, maybe you're exhibiting jealousy, you're exhibiting like lustfulness, you're exhibiting and like and that lustful is not even in like a sexual sense, but just in a greedy sense. Greed is like another one. This covet, what's that word? Covetousness or
Coveted, yeah, you're right. Coveting.
yeah. Like if you're exhibiting like these things, and you're not having the fruit of the Spirit or any type of conviction try to overtake those things in your heart, then I feel like you could say, okay, do I really know God? That's where that question comes into command. And then it's up to you at that point to try to dig deeper into that and like form a relationship with God that's stable and firm. So when you can get to that judgment day, you can be confident with what his answer is going to be.
Yeah, I actually in Bible study last week, I was talking with one of my boys, and I was saying how like I don't. I'm like I don't. I'm not taking God for granted, but I want to live my life as a believer on earth, fully knowing the Lord is finna. I'm finna hear that good and what, like
Yeah, well
my
done.
my faithful servant.
Yeah,
I know where I'm going. I don't want to let like if we really believe, why should we have a question on where we're going?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And to your point about like wickedness, and you were talking about like right standing with God. I'm gonna pull up this joint from I think it's Romans. I think it's Romans 2. Um, and this joint, like how you were talking about the things that are wicked. I looked it up. I looked up wickedness like last week because I wanted to know. And it on the Bible dictionary, it's like BibleDictionary.com or something like that.
I like that.
It was you. Oh, you been there before?
Yeah, I be on there all the time.
And so it said wickedness is like a moral, like a disregard for God's principles,
Yeah.
basically. And it because I say principles because it had like a number of different like things, but like coveting, for example, that's a disregard for God's principles about generosity.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily generosity, but like contentness.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, you're not satisfied with what you have, so now you're developing an appetite and entertaining the thoughts about how to like, satisfy the appetite for other people's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But and I think that goes hand in hand with righteousness
Mm-hmm.
because righteousness is not like it's not like how Boy Scouts get pins on their whatever. That's not what righteousness is like. Righteousness is just like, bro, you and God are on good terms. The same way how like you and Emily, like you're righteous in her eyes when you're fulfilling your part.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you're honoring her with your life and in your decisions and your choices.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, you guys are on good terms. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
because righteous is like to be in right standing. And to really even go like further than that, your actions, like, they honor the fact that Jesus is the one that makes you righteous with God.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's the one who saved you. He's the one that cleans you up.
Right.
So to really dive into that wickedness or to act against the fruits of the spirit is like, not only are you're kind of like rejecting the gift that God gave you of salvation. You're like, I don't even need that. Like, I'm gonna just live.
Yeah, according to your own terms type of thing.
Yeah.
That's what
You die for no reason.
Yeah, you're right. And like that's another question I'd be having for people who, because I think about this like all the time, and I've thought about it more as I've gotten more serious in my relationship with God. Because like I grew up Christian, and like I'm not saying like live a perfect walk from like day one. Like obviously everyone has their own growing process, but like sometimes I'd be thinking like, yo, people who say that they know God, like why don't you just like give everything to God if you believe in the Bible? Like how do you say you believe in God, but like you try to live the double life,
Yeah.
Like it's like a genuine question of like why not
I
just?
think it's because I think whenever we do that, it's because there's something about Jesus that we don't have a revelation on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a good point.
Because it's like, you're doing that because you clearly don't understand something about
Right.
him.
No, that makes sense. Because it'd be confusing me. And like I was at a point where I was obviously doing that same thing, which is why I'm like, you give grace for like the growing process. I'm like, you don't know what God's doing in someone else's life. And that's why like I'm not holding judgment anywhere. It just like it was genuine, like, oh, I wish only if you just submit everything. Like I promise you'll be so much better.
I feel you. And I think that part too, as we continue to like, because I also have been feeling more of a burning in my heart to like share the faith and legitimately like help people give their lives to Christ, like encouraging people to do that. Because, bro, like, especially when I think about like close friends that I have that like I truly don't know where they are with the Lord.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like I was talking, I don't even go that far, but it like I could cry thinking about that, like to be in heaven with the Lord and to hear the cries of like my friends.
Yeah.
And at one point I was like, dang, how much of a friend am I if I never tried to share the gospel?
I've been thinking about that too.
You know,
Yeah.
that John. Yeah, I feel like I was going somewhere else with that, but
No, I know what you mean though, because I've been thinking about like that. Oh, you always hear like testimonies or not even testimonies. It'd be just people saying like, oh, like when you're in Judgment Day and like you're all right standing with God, but your friend isn't. They're gonna be like, yo, why didn't you tell me? Like,
yeah,
why didn't you like you knew it this whole time? Like, why didn't you
yeah,
say something? And it like makes you like being here. Obviously, you're like, okay, like how can I go about this without like I know how serious this is, but I don't want to be forceful with it either. Like I
yeah.
still want to be the guy that people are comfortable being around. Not comfortable like, oh, I'm the Jesus guy, but like comfortable as in like I don't want every single word that comes out of my mouth just to have to be
Yeah.
about Jesus, you know?
I think, bro, like, cause I just had to do this not that long ago. I feel like, not had to, but I did it. I feel like just like any kind of conversation that you want to have with somebody, I think it's okay to just say it.
Mm,
Like, yo, bro, like, I know, like, you're not like the biggest church guy or you're not the most religious guy, but because clearly they have a relationship with you and
mm,
they know there's nobody you have in your life that doesn't know where you stand with God, you
mm,
know? And so it's like, yeah, bro, you know, if you ever want to try God or if I ever could share the gospel with you, I would love to, bro. Because like Jesus loves you so much and there's so much that he wants for your life and he could really bless us now. And the Bible also speaks about like, you know, one day the world's not gonna be here no more. And it's like, I don't wanna be kicking it with God and knowing that you're not there with me.
mm,
You know, like you don't gotta get into like, I don't wanna hear you burning in hell. You know? But it's just like, yeah, bro, it really hurts my heart to think like, dang, I could be in eternity with God and like knowing you're not there.
mm.
Like knowing you somewhere else. They know somewhere else.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that part of the thing, like our fruits of the spirit, and that is love. Because I love you so much that I'm gonna have this conversation with
Yeah.
you, even if it is uncomfortable. Because, and I feel like when you're moving from that fruit of the spirit and that is being born in you, again, like when you're connected to the vine, you bear good fruit. So being connected to the vine, you bear the fruit of love. So even when you are saying something that's difficult, they feel the love and they hear that more than they like
Yeah.
feel like you're telling them what to do. It's because like, bro, I fully understand that this is your choice, but I really, and I'm not gonna try to force you, but I really think you should consider this, you know?
Mm. That makes sense. That's actually a good way of putting it. Especially, yeah, no, I like that.
Like as your friend, like
Yeah.
not as the Christian,
Yeah.
as your friend, I really think you should
Yeah.
consider this.
I had a conversation recently with one of my friends, on my birthday actually, about God. And it's funny because sometimes like I have those conversations and I'll think about it happening like beforehand. And when I think about it, you know those feelings I've been telling you about that I'd be feeling like things are gonna happen and then they just like happen. It was like
Oh, I can't remember that, but
yeah, but I remember I told you like with my platform thing, I felt like I was gonna have
oh
a
yeah,
platform.
yeah. It's just like
Yeah.
a
It was that same type of thing. And this one before it happened with my college roommate, and I was like, I feel like I'm about to have a conversation with him. And then God told me how like the conversation was gonna go, and then it went that way. And then this time it happened with one of my other boys I'd be lifting with. And I was like, I feel like I'm gonna end up talking to God. I mean talking about God with him the next time we speak.
do you
And
see that in your head?
what do you mean?
Like,
Like the image of it happening?
yeah.
Simply because I imagine it, but not because
You don't
it's
be
like
trying to imagine it though.
no.
It just is like there.
Mhm.
Bro, I know what you mean. That just happened to me yesterday.
Oh, well then yeah, you get it. Yeah. So then yeah.
It's like,
That's
but you could be doing anything and all of a sudden you just kind of see this picture in your head.
yeah, it just happens. Like I
And
don't
it's not even like long. It's just like a little,
no, yeah,
like a
just like
little John.
two
But
people
you
having a
know,
conversation.
yeah, you know what is happening. It's
Mhm.
like, bro, that John's crazy. It's almost like a couple pictures.
I don't get like couple like that, nah.
No, I mean like you get a snapshot of the interaction,
Oh yeah.
but you know
Mhm.
what that whole not the whole thing word for word, but you know like the gist of like what that. It's almost like looking at a memory from the future.
I know what you mean.
You know?
For me, the message of what's happening is more vivid than like the actual picture.
Yeah, yeah,
But like it's definitely like oh like you're and I don't it's like confusing if it's like well I know it's God that influenced me and this is going to happen but in the moment, it's like, it just feels like you just want to talk to this person and tell them about God, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So then like I had that conversation with him on my birthday, and I was thinking about, I was like, I wonder how this is even gonna come up. Because it was funny, because I was gonna text him that day when I left work, and I was gonna ask him if he wanted to go to the gym. And then I didn't text him because I just wanted to go by myself and just get over with so I could get back home. So because Emily was at my house. And I went, and then he was there. And then I was like, oh wow, well,
You're here.
yeah, since you're here. He sent me a picture like of my car when I pulled up. I was like, oh, well, you want to work out together? And then
Bro, that's crazy. That's like how you texted me when you were on your way here. And you was like, yo, can you set up?
oh yeah,
And I
yeah.
literally, I was like,
Saying it was literally what it was. So he texted me, and then we went in. And I brought up God real quick. I forget what we was talking about. I think we was talking about me and Emily. I was just talking about how God like changed like our hearts just like a lot, and like He's just been doing like a really good work on us since we got together, you know.
mm-hmm.
And I was just giving God like a whole bunch of credit, and he was like, yeah, it's also because like, you know, she met like a really good guy, like for why she would have changed a lot. And I was like, well, yeah, but like God's great. So, like, you know, he did his thing, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was like, God changed my heart. So like I wasn't like great before. Like I was sure like I was a good person. I was okay, I guess. But
he made you even
yeah,
better. Like,
God
he turned you up.
yeah, God did his thing, you know. So and then later, before we was about to leave, he ended up saying, I forget what we was talking about. We would start talking about Jesus again. And I asked him, I was like, bro, why don't you ever like, because the way he thinks, he's influenced by like Christian influences, you know, like he'll take a Christian message and apply it to his life, but he won't.
He'll leave like the
leave like Jesus product, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, why don't you never like why not Jesus? And he was like, I don't know. I never really thought about it.
That's a good point. I think that too, like how we were talking about, sometimes it's like when you say like how, bro, if you believe how you say you believe, then why do you XYZ?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's literally like they know everything, but nobody has ever like politely challenged.
Yeah, like that thought.
Yeah, like
of why not?
Yeah, or like why? Well, if you believe this, why do you do that?
Yeah.
You know, like a genuine curiosity, and for them to really be like how you said, like, I don't know, I'm just gonna stop doing that.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, yeah. Because he was like, I don't know, like I think I'm gonna like. I'm gonna try like to, because his girlfriend, she believes God. I don't know how his relationship with God is, but I've seen her post like Bible stuff. I also know that. So much she knows God. And I was like, well, he was like, if I'm gonna be with her, like I would want to put an effort to like be interested in the things that she's interested in, you know? So, and that's already like that's a part of submission in the relationship. So he has like these character morals that align with what God would want.
Yeah.
I'm just like, if you just put God there, like, you know, to sustain all of this.
I think that goes back to again, like getting to know Jesus. Who is he really? And before you can reflect him, like, well, not before you can reflect him entirely. There's some things that you reflect God on just because you're made in his image and likeness. And so some of it just goes. But other stuff, like you need to know more. And like, snap. Oh, you said submission. Oh, I think sometimes people don't always want to get to know God, or like they don't try him because they know him more as like the 10 Commandments than they do as him on the cross. Like the image of like, you feel me? Like, hey man. Thank you. Hey, good job, bro. But it's like, because even like the image, I've like painful images and scary images stick with us heavier. And so I think that people hear like the wrath of God and they're like, shucks. I feel like people are much more likely to believe God will send them to hell than they will that he saved them and still loves them past their mistakes. That's why people deal with condemnation. Nobody ever struggles with feeling like, man, God ain't gonna send me to hell. You know what I'm saying? People always are like, dang, I don't wanna.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Or like they either say, oh, I don't want to, or they're like, I wouldn't rock with a God like that because he's mean, you know? But it's like, wait, hold on. Don't you know he love you? Don't you know, like, that he actually doesn't send you to hell? Don't you actually know that anybody who goes to hell chooses to go?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like
it's a free gift.
It's a free. Well, what?
Salvation.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I thought you said it's a free gift to go to hell. Wait,
No,
what?
no,
I was like, that's not a gift. I wouldn't call that a gift. Don't give me that gift.
No, it's not a gift.
But it's like, because hell, that's the other thing too. I feel like we talk about hell being a place, but we don't really like break down what it really is. Hell is the place you go when you don't want to be with God for eternity. Like that's really what it is. It has fire. It has this other stuff. But the real reason that it's hell is because it's not where the eternal presence of God is.
Yeah, like nothing good can be in hell because God is everything good.
Right.
So like, obviously it's going to be everything bad.
And hell was made for somebody and other people who did not want to be in the place that God created for them to be.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to be there. They didn't want to rock with his way, so he made them another way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And even like the Bible also says, like, for God so loved the world that he who believes in his son shall receive eternal life and shall not perish.
Mm.
And then it talks about condemnation. And it says, condemnation is this, that light has come into the world and men loved him not because they loved their darkness more. So it's like, this is a very good example, fellas. It's like a lot of guys will be like, yeah, I want me a wife one day.
Mm-hmm.
But for right now, I'm spin the block. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that they don't like the idea of marriage someday, but right now they would rather love being able to do whatever than to even like start to commit their heart to the wife that they maybe already know and haven't committed to yet, or the woman they haven't met yet. And it's like, it's the same way with God. It's like, you know, I'm here. You know, like there's better, but you love the other stuff more.
Mm-hmm.
Like you love that more. So you choose it. That is condemnation. It's not something that God does to you. It's condemnation is the state of knowing better and choosing worse.
Mm-hmm.
That's what condemnation is.
Mm-hmm.
So you choose it for yourself. Nobody does it to you.
That makes sense. I think doesn't the Bible say something about like you condemning yourself? Like, I don't know what I would look up for that.
It does though.
Like I feel like it's in John or something like that. Like you condemn yourself if something.
You want me to look it up while you talk?
I don't have anything to say. It was I just would have said the verse. I was just going Oh, I think maybe this is it.
Quick guy.
I'm not sure if this is. No, I just Googled, but
still quick.
I don't know if this is actually correct. This that was not English. It might be what I was talking about, but kind of alludes to it. Therefore, this is Romans 2:1. Therefore, you are inexcusable, oh man, whoever you are, who I'm reading out to you.
Oh, you was in King James?
That was NKJV. Okay, 2:1. You may think you can condemn such people, but you are just as bad. You have no excuses. When you say they are wicked and should be punished, you are condemning yourself. For you who judge others do these very same things. So it kind of like what you just said in the act of like condemning yourself, like you know better and you're not doing better. Because like it said when you say they are wicked and should be punished, you're condemning yourself. Like at that point, you know who God is. Jesus already died at this point.
That's like, I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
No, yeah, he already died at this point, and we know at this point what the gospel is because they're preaching to us. That Paul and the other apostles are preaching to us. So when he says, when you say that they are wicked and should be punished, you're condemning yourself because, like you said, you know better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're acknowledging, like, when you look at them and you're seeing how they're doing stuff that isn't of God or the right way, and you're like, oh, you're doing wrong. and to point out wrong in somebody else, that'd be like, oh, so you know the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So then why, if you know the right thing to do, you might not be doing what they're doing, but why are you doing
What you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's like, bro, like, you do it too.
No, yeah, literally. Yeah, that's literally what he said too. You, for you who judge others do these very same things.
Yeah, the very same thing.
Yeah, no, literally. And that goes back to the Matthew verse, like log in your neighbor's eye or whoever, or friend's eye, whatever, and you have a speck in your own. Or other way around, actually, speck in your friend's eye, you have a log in your own.
Same, John.
Yeah,
Jesus don't care. He care about the message.
Yeah.
More than the order of the words.
Yeah. So, but like the more that I've read the Bible and the more that I've come to know like Jesus and like different ways I speak to him and everything, the more I'm more observant of like people's character and like less about like how much word you know, less about how much like how good you sound. I'm like more observant of like what you actually do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I've gotten to a point where it's like, okay, if you say you're a Christian and you say you love Jesus, you say you know Jesus, I'm going to look at you a certain way and like look for certain fruits because because
I really don't care what you say or don't say. I'm watching how you live.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm like, well, you shouldn't be comfortable with certain things if you say you do know God and everything.
And for real, a lot of times, like, this is why also too, I don't necessarily always agree with like, I feel like you really shouldn't be like rebuking people that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I feel like there probably is a time and place, but I think a lot of people think that time and place is more frequent than it really is. And like I know social media gives people a lot of people the feeling that they should just come up any given day and like let people know why they're not a real Christian or like all this and that. But I feel like if somebody was doing something that I'm like, that doesn't reflect Christ, and like you told me how you live, but I don't know you that well, I'm probably just gonna like adjust my actions according to what the fruit I see you bearing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody was like, oh yeah, I'm an apple tree. And I'm like, then why you keep showing me oranges? Like why you got all these oranges? I'm not gonna be like, nah, bro. I'm just gonna be like, oh, okay, well, I'm allergic to oranges.
Yeah.
Knowing that, I'm just gonna move however I need to move. I'm not gonna make it my mission to convince you that you're not an apple tree.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
No, I do. A lot of people, I feel like, because I see both sides of it. I think that the way that exposure goes now is went about very, very wrong. And I think a major part of that is because, like, when you say something on social media, like, you can't interpret the tone. The tone of, like, what you're saying in your message is interpreted how the person is reading it. You know?
You mean like typing?
Yeah, like you type it. That's where the most rebuking is done. So, like,
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is very crazy.
And I feel like even by biblical standards, I'm going to try to remember this based off my memory, but the Bible talks about what happens when you rebuke somebody in the church. And I feel like it's important because the church, obviously, it was talking about when the people gather, but because we're the body of the Christ, we are the church. So we should follow the same rules. So when I think Paul said, it's in the Corinthians somewhere, but if someone does something wrong that they're not supposed to be doing, you're supposed to bring them to an elder, I believe. And if they still continue, then you bring 2 elders, something like that, and they still continue.
It's supposed to be more church. Yeah.
Either way, there's a process,
and it doesn't start in the public.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't just start and be like, okay, let me make a video about this guy and tell you all of my opinions about why he is wrong. You know, and especially if you already see a bunch of other videos doing the same thing. You're like, okay, this message is already out. Why do I feel the need to replicate it?
Bro, I was talking about it with a little different kind of context, but I was like, bro, there's so many times where it's like, you might have a genuine desire to do something for God, but you have a bigger desire to do that thing for God, for what it could do for you.
Mm.
And it's like, bro, you don't really care about like this man repenting. You just want to rebuke him.
Yeah, literally.
You know what I'm saying? You want to rebuke him so that everybody can see how well you know your word.
Yeah, that too. I think it's
That's
really
so crazy.
It's really dangerous to act off of emotions. I feel like, and especially when you have a platform, especially just for social media in general, because you say
Mhm.
one person's name who a lot of people agree that is like a bad preacher or whatever, then it's probably gonna go viral. And I feel like you know that when
Facts.
you're making the
You're
video.
influenced, bro, and you do. That's
Yeah.
the only reason you're making the video.
Yeah, I feel like that. Yeah, no, I feel like that for a lot of people it is. And like again, in some cases, maybe God is saying, okay, no, expose this person. But in other cases, I feel like it's so, well, everyone's doing the same thing.
Bro,
God's not speaking to all of y'all.
and that's the thing. This is why I think it's important. Your actions will tell me what you know about the word. Because think about like how you just brought up, like, well, the Bible says that there's supposed to be a process. And like the Bible also says, like, oh no. No. Bring it back. I know what I was gonna say. Yes.
Hurry.
Yeah. So like talking about like exposing people. Even remember when it was like the Pharisees, I think it was the Pharisees or Sadducees, they were accusing Paul. I think it was Paul. And they were like, bro, like, or it might have been Paul or Jesus. I can't remember. But the point of the story is this. They were like, oh, we should get rid of these guys. We should get rid of them because I think it was Paul. They were like, yo, he's spreading this gospel, this Jesus talk, and like it's infecting the people. And then one of the Pharisees was like, nah, let's let him rock. Because remember so-and-so? He influenced a lot of people too, but then his joint died off. And remember the other bull? Yeah, he had a big crowd too. But then like when one little thing happened, all his people fell off too and they stopped doing what he was doing. Instead, it was like, so if this guy is fake, then his stuff will fall off too. But if he actually is the real God, we shouldn't bother him and like encourage like the wrath of God against us for like, what if he's really telling the truth? So he's like, because he was saying like all phonies fade. So, but if he's really God, we don't want to mess with him. And it's the same way, like how you're saying with like the other, with the preachers. What happened?
This is about to go
Oh,
off.
yeah. Oh, snap, it is, yeah. But yeah, he's like the Bible gives like good counsel on like how to go about that.
Yeah. No, literally. It does.
Oh, that was weird.
And my hand kind of
Like we
sweaty.
slipped. But nah, yeah, bro. The Bible, it talk a lot about that stuff.
It do. And the other part I was going, like the other side of it, like with it being such an influx of people, it's why it's important to know God for yourself, because when you see other people with the platform who you think know God, who knows if they know God or not, they say they know God, but like you don't know them in person, you know? So you see them doing what you think is a righteous thing, and now you just like, oh, let me fall in line. Like if this is God's will, then let me just go ahead and maybe I need to rebuke this person too. Let me go ahead and follow them. Like at that point, you're following man and not like God, you know? And the Bible actually talks about, not in the same sentence, different context, but like same principle type of thing. Peter, I think it was Paul who had rebuked Peter because Peter was acting different when basically people who didn't know God came around. And like Paul called him out like in front of all the people, you know? But the thing is, like Peter, he let what he saw like influence him. Like if he was around godly people, he would act godly, and if he was around like I guess sinners or whatever, he would act.
No, he would sit with the Gentiles.
Oh, instead of the
like he was comfortable sitting with the Gentiles when the other disciples weren't around. But when the disciples were around, then he didn't want to sit with them.
Right. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Either way, like that's like a heart posture thing, and I feel like it's still like being influenced by what's around you.
Yes.
You know, so the same thing with the social media space. If you're allowing yourself to be influenced by everything that you see instead of going to the source, which is God, then you're going to just be putting out what you feel like is good according to your own emotion. Which is why it's important to have like what we said in the episode, like fruits of the spirit. Like you need to be able to like know those things. You need to be able to see if it's coming out of you. You need to be able to see if you're acting off of because when you have a motive to do something, it should come. There should be fruit of the spirit somewhere in that motive. Yeah, you know, it shouldn't just be like, I want to do this based off the fact that he's doing it. You know,
or like like how you're saying, bro. If there's so many people already like, okay, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like there's this video has, even if I saw like I've seen like all these videos, they have like 100,000 views or however many views, whatever. There's a ton of videos already talking about whatever pastor, whatever worship leader, whatever. Like, okay, why would you do that? Like,
Yeah.
why would you also join in?
And how long are you gonna spread the message? It's been years. Like, I think we all know.
Like, why are we doing this? Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I really don't have time. Like, I would never watch a video about any pastor. Like, this is why they're a fallen preacher. Why would I listen to you talk about why this pastor is bad? Like, before you even say like if you're right or not, why would I watch that? Why would I rather do that than to like read the Bible or like maybe even watch a sermon from the pastor? Because it's like if you have a relationship with God, when you listen to a fallen pastor, you will still like you'll sense like I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Because if you know the word of God, when you hear somebody who's preaching like not in agreement with it, the word that you know in your spirit will disagree with what they're saying. But I don't need to like sit here to this rebuking and the person you're rebuking is not even here.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, we're just gossiping.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have the ability, like, what? Bro, because the thing is, this is the thing a lot of people don't think they want to hear. If you really are upset about fallen preachers and pastors, pray about it.
No, they're literally.
God will hear that the same way he hears your YouTube video.
Yeah. Like if everybody, instead of making a video, everyone just decided to pray. And
Facts.
That joint would be so strong.
If you pray to God about like God, please let the hearts of your people be guided to you and away from any false teaching. That will be way more effective
than a video.
It doesn't matter how many people you reach.
Yeah.
Like, because one is your word and another is you making a request
to God,
bro.
Yeah.
So if you really care, like, pray.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how many people are like
praying before they make the video.
Yeah, or at all.
Yeah.
Like, did you pray about that at all?
Yeah, right.
You just wanted to like
get some motion.
Yeah. But that's the other thing too. Like that stuff don't make you gotta know the Lord. The Lord doesn't like you see a fallen pastor, whatever, however you want to call it, God sees his child. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, you think that's what God would want you to do? Like that's how, like you've prayed and you know God wants you to move this way. Like, you gotta move with some love, bro. Move what if it was you? Because a lot of times when people are doing wrong, sometimes whatever they got going on, like in their mind or in their hearts, is something that's blocking them from being able to see clear. So it's like, bro, if you had a blind spot, how would you want people to handle you?
I like that.
What if somebody knows you love your wife, but they caught your eye wandering at church? How would you want them to how would you want them to handle you?
Yeah.
Would you want them to an announcement? Good morning, church. Yeah, Brother Jacob.
Yeah, literally.
Hey, you gonna want to listen to this.
Yeah.
I saw him when everybody else was praying during altar call. Yeah. He was looking at like, what? Like, bro, I'm not trying to, why would you
put me on blast?
Like, help me. This could have been, it could have been a conversation between me, you, and my wife. It did not have to be the whole church, bro. Come on, bro.
Yeah, wrong message. Like, yeah. No, it's definitely a big thing, but yeah.
I'm sorry. Last thing I'm gonna say. Because when we do stuff like that, it's like we are trying to make people pay for what they're doing.
Like casting judgment type of thing.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, God gives grace, and you're trying to give less grace than God to them, which is crazy. You know, it's like, well, God would have forgave him for that, but you want to hold him accountable to it.
Yeah, over and over again.
Why are you holding people accountable to something?
100 videos.
Yeah, it's like, bro, God's done with that. God has held that person accountable and is holding that person accountable. Why do you feel like you have to go further than God's accountability?
I believe it's a time and a place. And like I said before, some of the videos might be because God was like, yo, go ahead and do it. I don't feel like every video is because of that.
It can't be everyone.
No, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it.
It can't be everyone.
But like, yeah, pray more. And I feel like people don't want to pray all the time because you don't like see the results because you're not with that person, or because it's just hard to see results in prayer sometimes. Maybe you feel like you pray for things and you don't see the results. Don't let that discourage you from prayer.
Yeah.
Still like pray and do the things that the Bible says that you should do. Do your best to like love others, and do your best to like put yourself in other people's shoes, because it's going to help you love others better and be more forgiving and everything. But yeah, I'm done. I've said my piece. You've said your piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
See ya.
Peace.